Hello folks! Over the past few months, I've accumulated quite a collection of smallish RC helicopters, and each one has its own claim to fame. This one, for instance, is probably the easiest to fly. This one, probably the most difficult to fly. This one, probably the most scale-looking, this is actually a custom build, and so on and so forth. However, you may be wondering, well, I'm sure that you're not, but I may be wondering, well, I'm not because I know, but someone may be wondering, which is the worst one? Well, it's this. This thing is just pure comedy. Okay, so let me run it back a little bit. I work at a hobby shop, okay? And we get interesting calls sometimes. In this case, somebody called and said, I have this old RC helicopter, I was gonna throw it out, but I thought someone there might want it. And me, being the person who likes to take old broken stuff and fix it up, especially helicopters, I was all over that. So they brought it in, they dropped it off, I took it home, and this is what I ended up with. It's large, well, for a toy-grade RC helicopter anyway, and make no mistake, this is very much a toy-grade RC. It's got, well, it's a coaxial, but some of those are hobby-grade. This swash plate, though, completely fake. This does nothing. There's no reason for it to even be separate pieces, although it actually is. The signature vertical tail rotor, this is basically a giant version of one of those cheap little Canadian Tire helicopters. In other words, it's garbage. I can see why they were going to throw it away. But I thought I could have some fun with it. So I bought a battery for it, and I took it out and I actually tried to fly it. And to my surprise, it does actually fly, or it did. Anyway, here's how that went. Now, the biggest problem with this design of helicopter, this cheap design with no working swash plate, is that there is no way to get it to move side to side. You can rotate along its axis just by changing the relative speed of the coaxial rotors, and you can go forward and back by using the vertical tail rotor to force the back end up and down, but you can't crab side to side, and that is an essential feature of maneuvering a helicopter. So these things kind of just wander all over the place with only a very loose idea of what you actually want them to do. It is somewhat controllable because if it's drifting a direction you can just basically turn it 90 degrees and then go forward, but it is a very awkward way of maneuvering it. And although the flybar on top does help keep it sort of steady, it also makes it swing around a lot like it's on the end of a pendulum, which is not great and just makes the handling generally crap. So I had very low expectations of this going into it. And honestly, it kind of exceeded those expectations. It is flyable, in a sense. It's somewhat difficult to control, and it is a little intimidating to have this giant thing coming towards you and have it be such a dubious affair to try and steer it away. But, you know, I could see how these would have been sold as toys when they were available. I think they might still be available. I hope not, though. Whoa. This thing also has a rather surprising but kind of neat feature, which is a little onboard camera that records to a micro SD card. Now, I say kind of neat because in concept it seems like it would be a cool feature. However, this camera is an actual potato. Just take a look at the footage from it. This is the best footage I could get, flying as smoothly as I could. It's just not... You might as well not even have this camera. There's no point to it.
Look what happened. There's supposed to be two of those. Those are the holes in the circuit board where the other one goes. It wasn't even a particularly hard crash. It just came down, landed kind of hard, and then when I tried to start it up again, the lower rotor wasn't spinning, so I thought the motor was gone, but nope. The actual, I guess it's a MOSFET, I don't know what that is, fell out of the circuit board. I've never seen that before. I mean, I knew it was going to overheat, because it did when I was flying it last night, but apparently it overheated so much that it actually melted the solder and fell out of the circuit board. Well, I guess that is it for the giant garbage helicopter. So, unplug that. Didn't even make it through a full battery. At least I got some footage of it flying before it yeeted its own internal components out.
So yeah, that's it for this thing. It's really not worth trying to fix, honestly. I'm not gonna go out in the yard and search around for that component that fell off. It just sucks. But it was a great few minutes of comedy. I am really, really glad that somebody gave this to me before throwing it out. I'm sure I'll get some useful parts out of it. I guess that's it. I'm just gonna part this out now. So that's that. I will see you next time with hopefully a train video. Have a good one.